All right, welcome back. Let's get right into this one. This next one reads like a spy novel, and it's obviously kind of close to my heart. Complete with secret shortwave radios, information passed by swapping grocery carts, messages inked on water-soluble paper. Basically, all the little spy tricks and shadowy gimmicks that we have seen and read about in the movies, novels. But this one involves an American couple accused of handing over secrets to Cuba for 30 years. Walter Kendall Myers, who worked at the State Department, and his wife, Gwendolyn. My guest knows a thing or two about their case and others like it. Chris Simmons is considered one of the country's foremost authorities on Cuban intelligence and counterintelligence, and he's good enough to join us. Chris, the Myers are indicted for 3 decades of allegedly spying for Cuba. First of all, how do you get away with something like this for 3 decades, for 30 years?
Well, in the case of Cuba, Cuban intelligence is ranked as probably about the 6th best service in the world, and we as a nation have underestimated them for 50 years. And so those are the 2 key factors that play in together.
Well, let me tell you why I think to a certain extent we underestimate them. I think to a certain extent we as a nation romanticize Fidel Castro. We romanticize the Cuban Revolution. We have many Americans wearing Che Guevara shirts and sporting them somewhat famously and proudly on their bodies. To the extent that that sometimes permeates our political discussion and allows us to allow something like this to happen. You agree?
Oh, absolutely. And Havana plays to that perception. They've long understood that it's easier to reinforce a perception than create a new one. And so they work the idea that they're the victim, that they're the underdog, and they manipulate people into doing, as you indicated, playing to the revolution.
But there are those who will say, you know what, in the scheme of things, Cuba's not a powerful or scary country anymore. This isn't the Cuban Missile Crisis anymore. This has really turned itself into a third world country that's very weak. How much damage can they do us by stealing our information? And to those who say that, you would say what?
I would say the idea that Cuba's not a threat is pure propaganda, and it emanates actually from Havana. The long and short of it is, Cuba's an intelligence trafficker. It steals U.S. secrets, and it sells or barters them on the open market to anyone who has something to trade, to offer.
That's fascinating, because what you just said is, it's not about Cuba getting our secrets. It's about North Korea. It's about Iran. It's about any one of our enemies, and sometimes even our friends, getting our secrets.
Exactly. And the Myers are a perfect example, because Kendall Myers had limited access to Cuban information, could not change Cuba policy, U.S. policy towards Cuba. He worked European issues. And so in terms of what could he do for Cuba, he provided a commodity that they needed and that was of high value to a lot of their supporters.
Well, you know, Ana Montez's case and the supposed spider cases and all the others that we've read about in the past, how are they able to do this, though, without being detected? I'm not quite sure. Doesn't someone have to be asleep at the switch? Or is it that easy to lie to us and fool us this way?
It's not that it's easy. It's right now, we believe Cuba has about 250 officers and agents working throughout the United States.
Today? Right now? I mean,
right now.
So if there's 250 and we just busted 2 of them, there's another 248 out there right now who
Correct.
are spying on the United States? Is that what you're saying?
That's absolutely what I'm saying. So what it comes down to is...
Hold on. You piqued my curiosity. Where and how? Inside the government? Inside the media? Where are these people and what are they doing?
We believe that most of Cuba's agents and officers are in Florida, because from the regime's perspective, Cuban Americans are the greatest threat. The rest of their account is throughout the United States. I know from one defector who worked in U.S. targets that he believes there are about 6 to 9 more agents just like Ana Montez.
What advice, final question, what advice would you give to the Obama administration for dealing with this, given that they have been showing signs that they will make overtures to normalize relations with the Cuban government? What would be your advice to them?
It still goes back to Cuba is an intelligence trafficker. U.S. secrets are one of the biggest commodities leaving Cuba today, and it's been that way for almost 30 years. And so in dealing with this regime, they need to understand that Cuba is stealing our information and giving it to our enemies with the expectation that some Americans are going to get killed in the process.
Should we normalize relations so we wouldn't have to worry about them being our enemies and wanting to steal our secrets?
The Castro brothers will be our enemy as long as they're alive.
My thanks to you. Interesting interview. Interesting perspective on certainly something that I've been studying most of my life as well. We'll get you back.
Thank you.